There's increasing legislative pressure to use poison centers for emergency response, such as the requirement to put telephone numbers on safety data sheets. Poison centers are excellent at providing advice on a single, confirmed exposure. However, they're staffed by doctors and so lack the specialist chemical knowledge to advise on the chemical implications of a complex incident, especially if it involves multiple compounds. This presentation is a case study of a recent emergency where NCEC assisted responders in conjunction with a poison center. It is to give you our perspective on how a dedicated chemical emergency response partner can complement advice from a poison center, providing enhanced response to a serious and complex incident. NCEC was contacted by staff at Beaumont Hospital in response to an incident at a pharmaceutical manufacturing plant. Hazardous chemicals were released in an accident on the plant's production line. 4 people were immediately exposed, and then a 3-person rescue team equipped with respiratory protection also received minor exposure. However, it was uncertain which chemicals had been released or in what quantity. The casualties' symptoms all related to exposure via inhalation, and the staff at the hospital had contacted the UK Poisons Information Service for treatment advice. The NPIS provided treatment advice on all 5 chemicals, but as the hospital staff did not know which chemicals the workers had been exposed to, they did not know which chemicals to treat for, and so called NCEC for help. 5 chemicals were involved: diisopropylamine, O-ethyl nicotinate, trifluoroacetic anhydride, tetramethylene ethylene diamine, and ethyl acetate. NCEC's responder explained to the hospital staff that all of these chemicals could have caused the symptoms, but that the hospital needed to focus on the most dangerous chemicals first. Ethyl acetate could be discounted. While it is volatile, and if it's been spilled, the casualties are likely to have been exposed to it, it's also very low hazard. If the symptoms the casualties are experiencing are due to this chemical, they will abate and not cause lasting harm. Ethyl nicotinate can also be discounted. It is non-volatile, which limits exposure via inhalation, and low hazard, and therefore unlikely to have caused the symptoms. TMEDA is more volatile, however, and more harmful. It could have caused the symptoms, but is not as hazardous as the last 2 chemicals, which were the ones the hospital should have been most concerned about. DIPA is corrosive and volatile. Personnel could have easily been exposed to this via inhalation after the spillage, and it is capable of causing serious harm. Likewise, trifluoroacetic anhydride is very volatile and acutely toxic by inhalation. It is also corrosive. It's easily inhaled and the chemical of greatest concern. With this information, the hospital has gone from 5 chemicals that they need to be immediately concerned about, down to 2. However, NCEC's responder was familiar with the properties of these chemicals and provided more assistance. DIPA fumes are colourless in air, looking like petrol vapour, and have a very unpleasant fishy odour. When trifluoroacetic anhydride is spilled, it reacts with the water in the air to give trifluoroacetic acid, with an appearance like steam. It also has a very strong piercing vinegar smell. The responder explained that the hospital staff could question the casualties to understand what the smellage smelled and looked like. From this, they could work out which chemicals had been released and target their treatment to the exact chemical. So, with a dedicated emergency response partner, you can take the treatment information for 5 chemicals that might have been released down to 2 chemicals that you need to be concerned about, and inform the hospital how to distinguish them. The hospital can then apply the detailed treatment advice they have received from the poison center, significantly enhancing the quality of response and helping to mitigate the impact of the incident.